and
Yeah, I
did you hear
forgot to
that?
push the recording button, so we're good now.
Oh no, you're good. But yeah, lots of hustling around. So yeah, this is good timing for
That's
today.
awesome. Yeah, it's being in Nashville is awesome. It's like a workout, but it's it's awesome. I love
Seriously.
it.
Yeah, it's exhausting, but it's fun. And I always eat too much Waffle House when I'm down here too. So
Man, that's what we do too every day, every morning.
yeah, right.
Or yeah,
Might
when
as
I was
well.
down there recording, I would get done at the studio and then grab Waffle House on the way home before and just mail that down and then go to bed.
Uh-huh. Yep.
So what are you doing down there? Are you recording? You just doing for fun?
Well, initially I had a random bar hit me up from Missouri, and that doesn't happen often for me. And I was like, well, I've never been to Missouri, and I'm always trying to spread out. So I was like, all right, I'll take this gig in Missouri. And then I hadn't been to Nashville in like 2 years, and I needed to just get down here to see some people I haven't seen in a while, and maybe try to get a gig or a writer's round or something. But really, just get down here and see
Right.
some music and chat with some people and stuff. So I ended up booking a couple shows, Central Illinois and then Southern Illinois, and then I had about 6 days actually, 6 days here, and then the following weekend, which is this weekend now, I end up getting two shows in Missouri. So played a writers round at Live Oak last night. That was really cool, and just been meeting up with some different people and stuff. Nothing big, no like big record deal or nothing like that. But
Not
just
yet.
meeting up with some friends and making some connections and stuff. So
That's awesome.
yeah.
So I saw, did you play on Broadway somewhere or not?
Not this time, no. I have in the past. I just went down there on St. Patty's Day on Monday and
Oh boy.
bummed around down there, and yeah, that was fun. Saw a couple buddies of mine, and yeah, but just the Live Oak gig
Cool.
this time. But Live Oak was one that I was really excited for because I remember just a couple trips ago, um, checking that place out and be like, man, that's a cool place. More of the locals tend to go there and stuff, and a lot of some pretty big songwriters play there. And it was one of those places where I was like, man, I wish I knew somebody who'd get me in there, but I didn't think I would. And then a friend of mine moved to town 2 years ago, and she started doing this writers round there called Court's Room. Her name is Court Taylor.
Okay.
Um, and she just happened to hit me up a couple weeks ago, like, when are you coming to Nashville next? And I was like, oh, I'm perfect timing because I'm coming in a couple weeks. I didn't know she had this writers round and let me get on it. And it was super cool.
Oh, that's awesome. I think I'd be a little intimidated to do a writer's round down there.
I totally was. I mean, it was one of those things where you got, now this was in the upstairs part of Live Oak. There's probably about 20 to 30 people in the room throughout the night, but you had some bigger names, and people that I just was like, man, this is different for me. This is different than playing the bar shows in
Yeah,
Wisconsin and stuff. So yeah, I was pretty nervous too.
I bet.
Yeah.
That is so cool. I love it down there. I've gotten to play a couple different spots on Broadway and it is pretty cool. Those musicians, it's a grind. I mean, they work their
Mhm.
butts off for sure, but
Yeah, I don't know how they do it. I mean, my one buddy that I went to see on Monday morning, he plays Monday through Friday, 10:30 a.m. till 2:30 p.m. And yeah, I don't know how they do it, but
yeah, and then
props to them for that,
they
I
don't
guess.
stop. I mean,
Yeah.
there's
Yes, some of the players they'll play 2, 3 shifts in one day. It's pretty
nuts.
pretty insane. But
That is insane. That
where
is.
did you play? Where on Broadway have you played at?
So I've gotten one of my cousins actually does the band bookings for four different venues down there. So she does Honky Tonk Central, Kid Rock's, Rippy's, and Tootsie's. So when I go down there, she'll throw me in somewhere here and there. And so I've gotten to do Kid Rock's, Tootsie's, and Rippy's.
Is that Jenny Lou?
Nope, her name's Anita Hill.
Oh, Anita. That's hilarious because I have both of them in my contacts.
Really?
When I started, yeah, I remember there being two different people that I had talked to about that circuit. So
Oh,
yeah,
funny.
I
Oh,
gotta
that's
need his
awesome.
number. Yeah,
Too funny. That's crazy.
yeah.
Yeah, so she usually is like, "Hey, I need a female singer here," or whatever, and so yeah, I always stay with her when I go, and
Oh, that's awesome.
yeah, that's crazy that you know her.
Yeah. I was playing. My very first gig down here was at Rippy's,
Uh-huh.
and she had come in, I think, on her way to either she was, I don't remember if she was playing like the floor above me or something,
Uh-huh.
after me or something, but then she was like, yeah, here's my number, and hit me up if you ever need gigs. I book for these places or whatever. So I did Honky Tonk Central once too. Um, and yeah, those two. And then I did Alan Jackson's Good Time Bar. That was through a connection I had of a guy I was a fan of pretty much for a while. And yeah, but it's funny. You never know how the connections, what they're going to lead to
Yeah,
down here.
that's
It's pretty wild.
wild. That's
Yeah.
so cool. Yeah, usually she'll be like, "Hey, I'm playing downtown, but you should walk up the street and go scope out who's playing and wherever and go see if they're any good." Because
Oh,
she's always
yeah.
she's always scoping for new artists to put with her rotations or whatever. So then
And
I'll
that's got to
go
be a
and like
fun,
video a little and report back and yeah.
yeah, that'd be a fun job.
Yeah. Yeah. It's cool. It's really cool. That is so crazy. Yeah, that's awesome. So you have been doing lots of stuff. Did you put out some music recently?
Yeah, I've been putting out stuff, I guess, fairly consistently since like 2020, 2021. So I got a couple EPs, one from 2021, one from 2023, but then my debut full length is coming out May 16th. So I've been releasing some singles leading up to that. So
That's
yeah,
awesome.
and
Like a
staying
full-length album?
full length album. Yep, just I ponied up the dough and I'm like, let's do this thing.
Yeah,
So
I just got done doing that myself.
really? Oh man, it's tough like without without a
It's
record deal and stuff, and
hmm
you're paying for all that on your own. But
it's spendy.
yeah, it is. But it's also been like the coolest, yet most challenging process. And it's just taken a lot of time. But man, has it been cool! And we're so close. Like today, we just got the last two fiddle tracks, and that's the last of the instrumentation. And
Ah.
I mean, you technically, I mean, depending on how you work, you might be thinking like you should have this done by now if this is coming out in 2 months. But but we're we had all these like loose deadlines,
Uh-huh.
and we kept pushing stuff back. But that's okay because there's been a lot that's gone into it, and we're taking our time. And technically, it doesn't really have to be done until mid or late April if we're really being real because you just got to get it in time for the distribution and
Right.
everything.
Right.
So, um, but yeah, that's those last couple fiddle tracks came in today, and then we just have to kind of mix and match what we want from those, and then um, mix and master the last three songs, I think it is. So it might be done in the next few days. Actually, we'll see.
I'm so jealous. I would have loved to have fiddle on my album.
I know a guy. Um,
I'm gonna have to
he,
save up some money first.
yeah, I hear you. I mean, yeah,
But
it's
yeah,
dang.
I got steel guitar and some
Oh, well, there
mandolin,
you go.
but I
Hell
just
yeah.
there's something about fiddle.
Yeah. No,
Just
I
levels
feel
up
that.
everything, I think.
Hmm.
I think
Yeah,
the
at home we have a fiddle player and a guitar player, but no steel player in the live band. So I try to get fiddle in there, and then I love steel so much, so I try to get steel in a lot of the stuff too. And I'm just like, all right, either the fiddle player or the guitar player's got to learn the steel part because
Yep.
can't leave that out.
I know. Yeah, that's been the hang up for us too, because I have a full band at home. But when I did my album, I used studio musicians in Nashville.
Hmm.
And so then I was like, well, here you go. You guys have to learn this. Like
There
I
you go.
brought it
Good
back
luck.
home and handed it to them. And they were like, man, we don't have enough people in our band to cover all these parts. And I said, I know, but we're just gonna have to The live version's just gonna have to be a little different.
The live version's the live version, right?
Yep. Yep. Yeah.
Yep.
I would love to have, a full-time steel and full-time mandolin and full-time dobro and
Yeah, able to afford paying 8 players or an 8 piece
right. Right.
band, But it's like, yeah, I can't see doing that until you get to I don't know how much I'd have to be making per show to be like, all
Mm.
right, I'm gonna pay an 8 piece band.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Someday though, we're both gonna get there someday.
Hey,
Yeah.
yep.
Where did you do your tracking at?
With Greg Huberty
Oh, okay.
in
Lots
Sartell.
of artists that I've been talking to lately have been utilizing Greg.
Yeah, yeah. Don't tell no one. I don't. He's already got enough on his plate. I want him to have time for me. No, I'm kidding. Yeah, he's the nicest guy, and just he's the right amount of picky. I feel like too.
Yeah.
Like he takes the time to get the stuff right, and sometimes producers, I more so feel like I'm being too picky, and then
Mhm.
I get that feeling like I'm gonna annoy them if I'm like, hey, wait, there's this one little part here. Can you,
Yeah.
turn this down just a little at this? But Greg's the same way, so we work together real well when it comes to that stuff. And yeah, and we have players that play remote, so we can kind of have anyone play from anywhere if they have access to a studio, which most of the Nashville players do, obviously.
Right.
So
That's awesome.
yeah.
Yeah.
What about you? Who did you?
I did my recording in Nashville, and actually the first time, so I have two albums out. The first album I did, Anita's brother produced it for me, and
Oh,
so we did that down in Nashville. And then
nice.
the second time around, he just didn't have the time. He's a full-time lead guitar player for Sawyer Brown. So
Oh,
he just
okay.
he's out on the road too much. He's like,
Yeah.
I just can't. I never have enough studio time. So
Mm,
the the studio that we did all the tracking for the first album is where I just did the whole thing this time.
okay.
So it's out in
Awesome.
Mount Juliet, which is just a suburb of Nashville.
Yeah, yeah. I've heard that town. I've heard that name a lot, but what direction do you remember? What northeast? What, don't
I
know.
don't know.
Yeah, I'm the same way with Nashville. People are like, "What road is that off of this highway?" I'm like, I have no idea yet. I've been down here a decent amount, but I don't have all that memorized. I just know
Yeah.
I
No.
stay about 40 minutes north of Nashville in Springfield with
Okay.
a friend of mine who used to live in Wisconsin, and he lets me stay here, which is a blessing. And yeah, I used to record in Spring Hill, which is south of Nashville, and I've done some recording at Hilltop, which
Oh, I've been
is
there.
just oh yeah, yeah, yeah,
Yeah. Yep.
nice.
That's not the studio that I did my albums at, but one of the guys that I did some harmony for and did some writing for tracked those songs at Hilltop. So
Oh, okay,
we
yeah,
went
yeah,
down and I was there just to watch basically, but but it's a cool
yeah.
studio.
That is a cool place. Buddy Hyatt was the session leader and producer when I worked there, and that was a cool group of people. I got to meet a lot of the A team,
Yeah.
briefly. Brent Mason and Scotty Sanders and Lonnie Wilson, Joe Spivey, those guys. A lot of the heavy hitters of a lot of the 90s and up to
Yep.
today. So that was a really cool experience. I did my second EP there.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't even remember who tracked on those songs, but yeah, it was a cool. It's so weird that all of these, big time studios are just like in some random brick house down in a, little housing development or like in a little neighborhood and you're like, where are we
Yeah.
going? Like you
Well,
would think in your mind you're going to be, downtown in this, these huge fancy streets with these big tall buildings and it's not
right.
at all.
Yeah, I feel like it's kind of you can pay extra for that experience, but when it comes to the quality of the music, I think they can get it all in the little console nowadays, so you can do
So,
it in somebody's apartment.
yeah.
Um, so it's funny too because I get asked that a lot, like, "Oh, where did you record in Nashville?" And well, it was so and so's house, so and so production.
Yep.
Um, but yeah, I didn't get to say anything like MGM Grand Studios or something like that. It would have sounded cooler, but but it's all the you get the similar product, sort of.
Yep.
So,
Yeah, the other studio that I worked at was the same way too. Just a house out in the middle of the trees.
hmm that's cool though.
Yeah, it is cool. Yeah, I think it's worth every penny though to do it that way, honestly. Like it's cool. And of course you want to include your own band members and whatever, but there's just something about a Nashville record that it's just different.
Yeah, I mean, they've been doing it that way for forever, pretty much, and I think there's a reason they do. It's like those guys can hit it perfectly, and they can hit it quick, and then
Mhm.
the band, their job is more so to, they can really take their time to learn it and work on those parts as they go, and they can just get better and better at the parts as they do them more. But then also be able to focus more on the performance part of things. And if you got the right members, they can pull off the sound well. And I like the way they do it. I could see some people being like, "Oh, it'd be cooler if you use your band," but it's just the way they've been doing it in country music since the beginning, pretty much. So,
Yep,
and
exactly.
I think it works out. It works good for me. I like how it works. And
Yeah. It's an experience like no other. And I think there's a couple studios here in South Dakota, but honestly, like I don't have much access to even if I wanted to do, a local or regional even studio. There's just not
yeah,
enough.
well, yeah, and you get a different product, and everybody, I guess, has a different sound and goals, but there is something about that Nashville sound, I guess, that just, if you're doing country music, I think that's
Mhm.
the way to go. But then again, nowadays, country music it's such a diverse thing that you could go a million different ways about it, I suppose.
Yeah, that's
But
true. Yeah. I think for the most part, I just wanted to be able to have my stuff match up or, compete with what is on the radio now. I
that's what
mean,
I always said too.
what's
Radio
the,
quality.
yep, if you're
Yeah.
going to do it, why not do it the very, very best you possibly can if you have that access. And I would have never thought without talking to Anita and her family, I would have never known that someone like me could go down and have a whole Nashville record produced and not need a label or you know, an agent or a manager or a producer or anything.
Yeah.
People don't realize that yeah,
Yeah.
anybody can go do it.
Anyone can be a
It's not
Nashville recording
exclusive.
artist.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's not
um,
exclusive to those people that have a Curb Records radio deal.
right, right, right. But if certain people don't know that and they think that we are bigger than we are because of it, I guess that's okay too.
Yep, it sure is.
They're like, oh, they got to record in Nashville. They must have a big deal
Uh-huh.
or something. It's like, well, if they want to think that, you
Yep.
know, I'm
Who
not
are
going to
we
lie
to change
about it.
their mind?
Yeah.
So how many more days are you down there?
Tomorrow I'm gonna start heading to Missouri because it's about an 8-hour drive for where I'm playing on Saturday, and I don't want to drive on Saturday 8 hours and then play for 3 hours. So I'm gonna just do all the driving tomorrow. Just wake up and head there and spend 2 nights in the hotel and maybe sit in a hot tub or something, hopefully, and yeah, just relax Saturday until the gig. And
Yeah.
tonight, I don't honestly know if I'm even gonna leave the house today because yeah, kind of feel like I got my fill.
I know it's a whole different adrenaline, energy source when you're down there. And then,
Mm,
yeah, you come back home and you're like, wow, I am dead ass exhausted.
yeah, I'm I'm glad that Dean, my buddy that I'm staying with here, he lets me sleep in. He hasn't been bugging me too much, so I've slept in pretty late today, later than I even want to admit. So,
Hey,
but
that's okay.
yeah, but
That's,
it's the parking, man. It's the parking
oh
down there.
God. It's
Good
awful.
thing, yeah, good thing with this app Spot Hero. But even then, so that thing it'll
What's
show
that?
you. It's an app that you just kind of type in where you want to go, and then it'll show you all the different parking areas and what they cost in that area. I don't know if it shows all of them, but it seems to show pretty much all your options. So I end up just picking the cheapest one, or
Right.
without having to walk too far. But even then, it's like, yeah, I mean, you end up walking far, and I mean, we're just spoiled. We're not used to paying for parking at all,
Yeah.
probably. So,
Yeah. Yeah. Pay what? Oh,
right, yeah, and I mean, a lot of the like the writers round, all those artists, they came down there last night, paid for parking, paid for their drinks, and you don't get paid for writers round, and I
no.
mean, I had a great time, and I wouldn't change it at all. Like, it was awesome, but I just think that would be a tough thing to get used to
Yeah.
as well.
Yeah. Well, and it's expensive. It's not.
Hmm.
Nashville is an expensive adventure all the way
Yes, it
around.
is. Yes, it is.
Also, congratulations on your Male Vocalist of the Year nomination.
Oh, thank you so much. Yeah, I'm excited because I'll actually be able to make it to the award show this year. The last
Sweet.
couple years, it was one of those things I didn't know the date, and then had booked something, and then found out the date was when I was booked. So, but this year we're making a trip out of it. So,
Awesome.
yeah,
We are too.
that's awesome. Well, congrats to you too.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's awesome.
I was super shocked. I was like, "What?" I was really hoping for the album just because I put so much work into that this year
Oh
and
yeah.
really poured my heart into it. And then when I saw the entertainer category, I was like, my face looked like that meme, like the Beyonce meme when they called her for a country artist or country album. Or whatever. That's what my face looked like. I was like,
Yeah.
what? Are you kidding? Totally off guard on that one. So I'm so excited.
Well, that's awesome.
It's so cool to have to get to be part of that and we went last year was my first time being at the award show and I just thought it was so cool and I just walked away from there feeling so inspired and that's really what lit my fire to be like, you know what? I haven't put music out in 2 years. This is it. Like we're gonna drive full bore here and get this album out.
That's awesome.
So yeah.
Yeah, I've heard the best things about the award show, just the camaraderie and
Hmm.
just yeah, that it should be a good inspiration to get
It
back
is.
writing because I've taken a little break from writing since I finished writing the album, so I'll be due to get back into that after that probably. So
Yeah.
that's cool.
Yeah. Oh my, I gotta plug this computer in here. It's about, if I suddenly lose you, it's because it suddenly died. I
Oh
s-
yeah,
the battery on this laptop is the worst.
yeah, no worries.
I also don't have a $2,000 Mac either, so that
Right.
problem.
Oh man, I've thought about that too. Just with home recording and stuff, so many things would go smooth if I just spent the money on that. But I've had my $300 HP Pavilion for years now, and it's still chugging.
Yep. Yep. Mine is a Lenovo. So
Oh yeah, I think I might have had one of those at one point. That might have been the one I had before this one.
it's done me pretty well, but yeah, I just
Yeah.
the Mac thing frustrates me. I can't get on board with how the system is. And I do,
Yeah, I
I have
remember
like an
trying to.
iPhone and iPad and whatever else, but something about the Mac is just like I don't get it. I can't find it. I don't know how to.
I'm right there with you. It's been years, but I remember I think it was back when I was in college. I had to use a Mac in some class or something, and I was just completely clueless. So,
Oh. So, what have you like what's your advice or tips and tricks on growing your following? So I think everybody that I've talked to, that's like their hardest struggle is their social media following.
yeah. Well, I'm asking the same question for sure. But what I've been learning the past few years, I guess, is unfortunately you kind of have to treat each platform a little differently. Ideally, I wish I could just, have one piece of content a week posted the same time on all of the things, but it seems like what I've found personally that seems to work for me is I can post on Facebook more for whatever reason and get decent interaction.
Mhm.
But Instagram, I have to really be picky. I have to do more quality over quantity.
Right.
And what I've been learning with Instagram is that you need more aesthetic type of pictures and stuff. And I don't do super well with that. So I kind of working on that. I actually deleted my Instagram, or not deleted, but I started a new Instagram recently because the one I had, I think something was funky with the algorithm. I just wasn't getting anything.
Hmm.
And so Instagram, I try to basically post less, is what I've found. Because if I start posting more on there, it seems like it dips
Really?
off. And then, yeah, for me anyway. And then for TikTok, that one I seem like I can post more frequently, but maybe not as frequent as Facebook. But Facebook is the one. I don't know if it's because I a more traditional country, so it's older crowd.
Right.
That's
Right.
probably got a lot to do with it. But also, I think because I've had my Facebook for the longest out of
Yep.
all of them. Um, so I guess figuring out what each platform, how they differ, and seeing what works for you, but just knowing that you got to be patient and it's gonna take years. Most people you see that seem to be doing really, really well on there. We don't realize that, well, yeah, they've maybe had their page for 3 more years than we have, or 5 more years than we have. So,
Right.
I mean, you do have the people who kind of take off. I have seen some of these country music pages that just post country music news and new artists and stuff. I've seen some of those really take off quick,
Hmm.
but yeah, that might be something just different in itself. Maybe those can take off quicker than most artists. I don't know.
Right.
Have you seen
Yeah.
that too?
I have, yeah. It's
Yeah.
it's hard because it like just when you think you're like, oh, that's the trick or whatever, then
Mm.
not.
Yeah.
And then
I've
you're
had
like,
that so many times. Yep.
never mind.
Yeah.
That's not what makes the difference. Are you a
Yeah.
YouTube user?
Yeah. And then YouTube's the other one. I thought, and this was a few years ago I heard this, so this might be different now because that's the other problem with these things is they all change so quick and frequently. But I heard a while ago that if you can post once a week on YouTube, a new video once a week for a while, that should help. So I finally, after like 3 years, I tried it recently, and I think it's been going pretty good for my standards. I've been what I ended up getting is like a big batch of content from this interstate music thing that we did.
Mhm.
We did it all the way back in September, but we got all the content. I think it was in November or December when we got the content, and they gave us a bunch of like short form stuff like reels that could be used on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok. But then they
Yep.
gave us a bunch of like longer form stuff for YouTube as well. And that was really a blessing because then I was able to actually like test some of this stuff out. So if you can set aside a day or two or even a few days throughout a month,
Mhm.
just one time, like get a bunch of content and then try to, yeah, just partition it. That ain't the word. Whatever the word is,
Ration
ration it. I think that's what I was going for. Yeah, you can ration it out differently across the platforms. I think that's what I've been doing, and that's about as much as I've learned in
Yeah.
like 6 years of doing this. So
Yeah,
yeah,
it's tough. How
yeah.
about your like getting people to add your music to Spotify or whatever? Have you had
Well,
good luck with that or not so much?
it's tough when I'm playing mostly bars. It's tough to get people at a bar to care enough to
Yep.
pull out their phone and follow you. So I don't really even bother. I will bring it up throughout my show. Like here's a new original tune. You can hear this one on Spotify and all the streaming platforms. Check it out if you'd like. But yeah, that's tough. But I've just been kind of looking at the monthly listeners thing,
Mhm.
and just basing it off of other artists, in Wisconsin and the Midwest, and I'm pretty happy with how that's been going because that's been staying. It has its ups and downs, but it's been staying semi-consistent, I guess, for me in a good way. And
Yeah,
I'm hoping with the album, of course, that will raise it a little. But yeah, so I don't know if it's the Facebook Reels or if it's like the TikTok or if it's I would guess it's one of those things that would account for most of the listeners because I don't think it's a ton of the people from like the bar shows, maybe some of our bigger shows.
right.
It's tough to say, and of course you can look at all those analytics somehow too. But
Yeah.
man, that's kind of where I tend to draw the line. I've had people tell me like, "Oh, you gotta look at your analytics," and and that's where I kind of get bored, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah, that's too that is above my pay grade. So
Yeah, right.
someday
Yeah,
I will have some, personal attendant that'll be in charge of that stuff.
amen.
Yeah. Do you ever do any ads or like playlist pitching or anything like that?
The only playlist pitching I've done is like when you first submit your song, you get like an email and then they give you a link to submit to the Spotify curators or whatever.
Hmm.
I think I've tried that just about every time. I don't think I've ever had any success on that at all. A few years back, I tried Submit Hub, where you would
Oh
have
yeah.
to like pay. I think you could just pay like a couple dollars or something,
Right.
and you could submit to certain playlists. But I wasn't finding a lot that were in my niche, so I just kind of gave up on all that. So I haven't done any of the playlist pitching other than that one generic email you get that's like, yeah, pitch it to the Spotify creators. What was the other part of your question then?
Um,
Or was there another part?
there was. What was the rest? Oh, Facebook ads.
Oh yeah, ads. Yeah, yeah. So I have done some of that. Um, I have not done any ads on like anything but Facebook so far, but a few times I've done, just throwing a boost on like a Facebook, like a live band video or an acoustic video just to see if it would kind of take off.
Mhm.
And it's they've all done a little, but none of them have really like been like, oh yeah, it totally like
Right.
took off and it really did. It made a big difference. It was more so like it just did a little bit. It seemed,
Right.
where so those I'm pretty inconsistent about. I'll do that a couple times a year, maybe.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I don't think hardly any artists have really like broke from like doing an ad. Or well, they might, but it just doesn't seem like it's something that's going to make a huge difference. But it may be a little stepping stone.
Right. Yeah, I've never really tried ads, I guess. I've done a couple playlist things, but it's so hard to know if where you're pitching to is like actual real, playlist stuff or it's like bot playlist stuff
Oh, right.
because that can get
Yeah.
you in a whole another world of trouble if you're, getting all these fake streams and then pretty soon your TuneCore or your distro or whatever is like, like this is,
Mm-hmm.
we're shutting you down because this is
Yeah.
all fake, and
Yeah, I think
so
it
I'm leery about
it
that.
flags it or something and it can hurt the algorithm too, yeah. So yeah, you definitely got to be careful with that, I feel like. And yeah, it is hard to know, I suppose, if you were that's why I've haven't really done any of the Spotify ad thing either, because I'm like, if it's bot streams, how would I even know? You
Right.
know?
Yeah, you
So
can't really. I
yeah.
mean, yeah, until your distributor says, nope, those don't count.
Yeah, right.
Which, not that it really matters because in, 3 years of having music out, I've made like $600. So
Yeah. Yeah, that's another
it
thing,
is,
man.
that is the biggest, yeah, terrible, terrible screw over for artists.
Yeah,
So,
well, this industry, I feel like it does a good job of keeping us in the bars, because
mm,
that's where we gotta, that's where
yeah,
we make the money,
yep.
but then you got people who are like, well, if I'm playing in the bar, I got to play for the bar crowd, and then sometimes I think it makes people's it takes over their taste a little, and then next thing you know, they're playing stuff that they don't even really like in the first place,
Yep.
and that can be a tough thing to navigate too. So I've tried my best to really stick to my guns as far as you know throwing the originals in there and just playing what I like to play. But
Yeah. We've
that's
done a
been
lot of analyzing the set list because up until now, we never really had enough to do even like an opening show of just original music. So we were
mm,
doing covers anyway. And
mm,
then it's like, well, I love this song, but it's 20 years old and the demographic that we're singing to now doesn't have a clue what it is. Like,
right, right.
like I absolutely love that cover of I don't even know your name, the Alan Jackson
Oh,
tune I just
thank you.
saw you guys
Yeah,
did the other night. But it's
yeah.
man, there's the crowds that we're playing for, they don't have a freaking clue what song, that song. So it's
Yeah.
hard to know, what's gonna keep their attention, but
I guess I try to think, um, if they don't know it, maybe they think it's an original or it's something that we do that's unique, and
right,
maybe they just view us as like this upcoming original band or something.
right.
I personally, I would rather do that than play, like the typical bar band playlist, I guess. But, and
You
that's
don't want
not
to just
to,
keep playing Copperhead Road and Sweet Home Alabama.
yeah, exactly, exactly. Um, and yeah, and that's not to diss anyone who does that, but it's just, we all have a different goal with it, and we all have different
Right.
tastes, I guess, I had a fella tell me yesterday who has been a good resource in my journey because I used to be a part of a thing called Nashville Artist Development University,
Hmm.
and it was like a year membership. You met over Zoom once a week. You got connected with other artists that were doing the same thing. Um, and it was neat, but yeah, he was basically telling me that this is what you have to play in your promo video. You have to do first you have to do Save a Horse Ride a Cowboy, and then hit him with something different. Do Bar Song Tipsy, and then he's like, then do Johnny Cash Ring of Fire, and I'm like, I get what you're saying, but
Yeah,
I'm not gonna do that and that and that just because I'm trying to cover all bases. I'm trying to have some sort of
right.
originality and some sort of, musical integrity too, not just trying to sell us to the masses, I guess, for
Right,
I don't
right.
know.
Yeah, because I mean, your end goal is to be an original artist, right? So,
Right. Yeah, and that's what it comes down to, I guess. Yeah.
right. Yeah, we've, we have the opening show this weekend, and we were trying to think like, what we have an hour, so what's the best use of that for, my music per se, and we ended up putting, a couple um, really well loved originals in. We're gonna do the Little White Church, Little Big Town. We always have a good
Oh yeah.
um, response with that song.
Yeah, that's a fun tune. Yeah.
Yeah, and the harmonies and stuff are fun
Hmm.
and but yeah, mostly originals this weekend. But yeah, it's we try to do a good mix of everything because you just don't know. One weekend, all the, the classic hits would go off, and then the next weekend you're like, wow, is there even anybody in here? Like, you
That's the
know.
biggest thing I've found is that it's unpredictable. Um,
Yeah.
like I did the same set list for a while for all my solo shows,
Hmm.
and yeah, like you said, I just couldn't figure it out. It was like one night it would go great, one night I'd be like, I have to change up the whole thing. Another night I'd be like, I can't, I'm not even gonna do a set list. Um, and this was after forcing myself to do the set list for a while, you
Yeah.
know. So I was keeping it consistent, but that's what I learned through that is that it's just so unpredictable. Every bar, every night is you just never know. And
Yep.
then for a while I was gonna do this thing. Well, I did do it for like 3 shows, and then I got sick of it. But I did a thing where I actually copy and pasted every song that I had saved in my Ultimate Guitar Tab app, which is
Uh-huh.
like it shows the lyrics and the chords.
Right.
So just about everything I have learned since I played my first bar gig almost 7 years ago now was saved in there. And I copied and pasted it into these Word documents. And I had like a 15-page booklet of all these songs. And I was like, there's so many songs that I missed playing and hadn't played in a while. I'm just going to like pass these out of my shows, let the crowd decide.
Yeah.
And it was fun like the first day, the second day it was okay. The third day, I kind of hated it because what happened is I ended up having people write on a piece of paper. So
Mhm.
I had like 30 requests. So my whole show was just requests, and like half of them I just wasn't really feeling at the time.
Right.
And I ended up being like, man, this ain't the way to go either, you know?
Yeah.
And I was thinking I wasn't going to do that forever. I wasn't going to do it for full band shows, but I was just thinking for
Right.
solo bar shows, maybe this is the way to go.
Yep.
And I abandoned that after like 3 shows too. So, and I'm like, maybe I'll bring it back, maybe I won't, but it's just hard to
That,
predict.
that does sound like a fun idea though, like in theory.
I was, I mean, I was willing to spend like 4 hours one day typing it all up into Word, so I was pretty hyped on it. But yeah, just one day there, and every time I played a show, I would be like, all right, I got to take that song off the list because I don't really want to do that one.
Right, right.
And oh, that one got requested twice. I'm gonna take that one. So I kept editing it too, and I was just like, go back to my set list or something.
That's more work than it's worth.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's cool though. Yeah, it's a tough deal to decide what your set's gonna be. But yeah, ultimately I think you gotta stick with what your own personal vibe is, whether that's
Mm.
originals or, what your heart loves for the covers, because
Yeah, yeah.
what you gotta do.
Mm.
But well, cool. Well, I don't think I have much else to ask. I'm so glad you're going to be at the award show. That's awesome. Are you going to be part of the show? Do you know?
Yeah, I think I'm gonna be performing a song just solo acoustic at one point.
Cool.
So I'm super excited for that, and yeah, well, it'll be cool to meet you in person for the first
Yeah.
time as well, and yeah, that
Yeah.
should be a blast. I'm really excited for that. So
Are you going to go the night before?
I am, but I picked up a show in Waverly, Iowa, which
Uh-huh.
I don't even remember how far that is from where the actual award show is.
Mhm.
I'm guessing 1 to 2 hours, so I think it's going to be a late night. So I'm probably going to get there Saturday morning at 1 a.m. or something like that, and then just sleep, and then yeah. So
Well,
I
hopefully,
know I'm missing out on some stuff on Friday.
yeah. Yeah, I'm excited
Yeah.
to do, well, it was so busy last year. We didn't get in on the jam. There was just so many people and
Oh,
yeah, so we didn't do that, but I think we're gonna try to get on that this year. And then
nice.
the axe throwing thing, that sounds fun.
Oh man, yeah. I gotta next year. I'm gonna have to take the whole weekend off.
Hmm. Yeah, 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 you are. Yeah, I told the
Yeah.
guys, I'm like, Thursday to Sunday, don't plan on being anywhere else.
Hell yeah. Well, that'll be fun.
Yeah, well,
Looking forward to it.
well, cool. Well, we will see you in just a couple short weeks, I think.
Yeah,
Right? That's
sounds good.
Wednesday, so cool.
Yeah.
Enjoy the rest of your time in Nashville.
Yeah, thank you, Jessica, and thanks for having me on here. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, you're welcome. Thanks for being game to do a little Q&A and get to know you. I feel like I'm so far on out of the loop, kind of, because I'm way over in Sturgis, which is the totally opposite side of South Dakota. So, and then most of the
Yeah.
artists are, yeah, over in Wisconsin, Iowa, and then Twin Cities area. And so I'm like the little lonely outlier over here trying to make my
Well,
way.
I feel you on that though, because I mean I'm a pretty long ways from Twin Cities in Iowa, and yeah, southeastern Wisconsin. I'm not as spread out, but I feel you on that. So,
Yeah.
but
So
that's all right. The outliers are the cool ones usually, right?
that's right. Oh, all right. You have a great rest of the day and we'll see you soon.
Yep, thanks, Jessica. You too.
Yeah, bye-bye.
Bye.